The bullet ripped through my chest like a freight train derailing in slow motion, hot and final, pinning me to the cold tile of that executive bathroom like a butterfly to a board. I remember the metallic tang of blood flooding my mouth, the way my vision tunneled to the smug face of Harlan Voss, my boss, my mentor, the man who'd promised me the stars, grinning as he tucked the gun back into his desk drawer. Loose ends. Paisley, he'd whispered, his voice smooth as aged whiskey laced with arsenic. And then nothing. Blackness. Until the world rebooted, and I gasped awake in my cramped Brooklyn studio. Sheets tangled around me like restraints. The date on my phone screaming January 15th, 2023, the day before I hit send, on the resume that doomed me. My heart hammered like it was trying to escape my ribs all over again. But this time there was no exit wound. No paramedics with pitying eyes. Just the faint hum of the radiator and the distant wail of an ambulance slicing through the night. I bolted upright, palms slick, and fumbled for my laptop on the nightstand. There it was, the file. Paisley_Grant_Dream_Resume, docs, cursor blinking innocently in the email draft addressed to HR at Voss Dynamics. The company that would make me or break me, as it turned out. In my first life, I'd polished that damn thing for weeks, pouring my soul into every bullet point. Wharton MBA, 3 years crushing it at a mid-tier fintech startup. Innovative blockchain pitches that turned heads. It was my golden ticket to the C-suite fast track. Or so I thought. I'd hit send with trembling fingers, aced the interviews, and 6 months in, Harlan had pulled me aside after a late-night strategy session. "You're special, kid," he'd said, his hand lingering too long on my shoulder. Special enough to frame for his embezzlement scheme, to leak doctored emails, making it look like I'd siphoned millions into offshore accounts. Special enough to corner me in that bathroom and pull the trigger when the feds closed in. But now I was back.
众星.
They call it in those Korean dramas my roommate used to binge. But this was no fantasy. This was raw. American grit, second chances wrapped in the stars and stripes. Served with a side of cold-blooded revenge. I slammed the laptop shut, pacing the threadbare carpet, my bare feet silent against the chill. The mirror across the room caught my reflection, wild chestnut hair. Hazel eyes still wide with the ghost of that gunshot. Paisley Grant, 28. Single. Broke. And now armed with the future's blueprints. Harlan Voss wasn't just a sleaze. He was a viper in pinstripes. Head of Voss Dynamics. A Wall Street darling peddling AI-driven trading algorithms that were basically legalized Ponzi schemes. He'd built his empire on stolen code. Silenced whistleblowers with NDAs and worse. And me? I'd been the perfect patsy, ambitious. Isolated. Hungry for validation. I collapsed onto the bed, breath ragged, the room spinning like a bad acid trip. Why me? Why now? The universe, or whatever sadistic algorithm ran this simulation, had hit rewind, but it hadn't erased the scars. I could still feel the phantom burn in my lungs, hear the echo of Harlan's laugh as the life drained out of me. No. This wasn't a gift. This was a loaded gun, and I was the one who got to pull the trigger this time. By dawn, as the first gray light filtered through the grimy blinds, I'd made my call, send the resume. Not out of naivety, but necessity. To get inside the beast's belly, I had to knock on the door. But this time, I'd laced the welcome mat with broken glass. The next week blurred into a fever dream of prep. I hit the gym until my muscles screamed, channeling the rage into deadlifts and sprints that left me puking in the alley behind the bodega. Coffee-fueled all-nighters poring over Voss Dynamics public filings, cross-referencing them with encrypted drives I'd glimpsed in Harlan's office, drives I'd hacked in my desperation before the end. Yeah, I'd cross lines even then, downloading fragments of his dirty ledger, kickbacks from Russian oligarchs, insider trades timed to market crashes he'd engineered. Evidence buried deep. But now it was my Excalibur. I emailed the resume at 11:59 p.m., the witching hour, attaching a cover letter laced with just enough flattery to hook him without gagging me. 3 days later, my phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, jolting me from a catnap. Unknown number. Manhattan area code. Paisley Grant? This is Elena from Voss Dynamics. We're impressed with your application. The boss himself wants to chat tomorrow.
10 a.m. sharp.
My pulse thrummed. A war drum. Impressed? Try terrified. I hung up, staring at the screen until it went dark, then laughed, a sharp, brittle sound that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. Harlan Voss. You son of a bitch. Round 2. The elevator ride to the 47th floor was a descent into hell's antechamber. All mirrored walls reflecting my power suit like a stranger's armor. Voss Dynamics occupied the penthouse area, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Hudson like a conquered territory.
Elena.
A harried assistant with a fake smile and real exhaustion ushered me into the conference room. Mr. Voss will be with you shortly. Shortly turned into 20 minutes of me gripping the armrests, rehearsing not just my pitch but my poison, subtle barbs to test his reactions, probes to map his lies. He swept in like a storm front, all 6'4" of tailored Seville row and cologne that screamed old money. Harlan Voss, silver temples, jaw like chiseled granite, eyes the color of shark bellies, cold, unblinking. Paisley, he drawled, extending a hand that swallowed mine whole. Your resume reads like a goddamn manifesto. Wharton.
Huh.
They don't mint M like you every day. I smiled, tight and feral, shaking with a grip that said I wasn't here to curtsy. Flattery from the king himself. Careful, Mr. Voss. I might start believing it. We danced for an hour, my blockchain expertise dovetailing with his AI wet dreams, his anecdotes laced with humble brags about Harvard drops and yacht parties. But I saw the cracks, the way his gaze lingered on my legs when he thought I wasn't looking, the micro-twitch when I mentioned ethical auditing in trading bots. By the end, he leaned back, steepling fingers that I'd once seen wrapped around a Glock. You're in. Start Monday. Welcome to the family.
Family.
The word curdled in my gut. I thanked him, all sugar and spice. But as I rode down, the bile rose. This wasn't salvation. This was infiltration. Week 1 was reconnaissance, cloaked in newbie eagerness.
Y shadowed Elena.
Devoured the employee handbook like it was contraband, mapped the office layout in my notes app, server room in the basement, Harlan's corner suite with its hidden safe. Lunch with the team revealed the rot, junior analysts popping Adderall like candy. Whispers of the purge last quarter when 3 devs vanished overnight. Non-competes, they joked, but I knew better. Non-competes enforced with threats, payoffs, and in my case, a bullet. By Friday, I'd hacked the Wi-Fi, child's play with a rubber ducky dongle smuggled in my purse, and sniffed out the first thread, an email chain from Harlan to a shadowy LLC in the Caymans, funneling royalties from pilfered open-source code. My old self had missed it, blinded by ambition. This Paisley? She screenshotted everything. stashing it in a burner Dropbox. But revenge isn't a solo act. It needs fuel. That night, over greasy takeout in my apartment, I drafted the first anonymous tip to the SEC, vague enough to stir but not scorch. The call came Sunday night, shattering the fragile peace. My phone lit up. Mom.
Shit.
In the chaos of rebirth, I'd forgotten the fallout. My first death had ripples, framed for fraud. My name splashed across CNBC as the Voss vixen, my parents hounded by reporters until Dad's heart gave out mid-interview. I answered, voice steady.
Vice.
Honey, we saw the news. You got the job? At Voss? Oh God. We're so proud. Mom's tears cracked through the line. Dad grumbling in the background about Wall Street wolves. I swallowed the lump, promising visits, stability, lies that tasted like ash. Hanging up, I punched the wall, drywall crumbling under my knuckles. This wasn't just for me. It was for them, for the grave I'd clawed out of. Monday dawned brutal, snow flurrying against the windows as I clocked in. Harlan summoned me to his office by noon, the door clicking shut like a trap. Paisley, darling, settling in. He poured scotch from a crystal decanter. Offering a glass, I declined with a polite wave. Like a dream, I lied, perching on the leather chaise. Conversation veered personal. My type, weekend plans, a veiled probe about my loyalties. I played coy, dropping just enough intel to feed his ego, praise for his latest TED Talk knockoff, while my eyes cataloged the room. The safe, matte black behind the Monet knockoff. The laptop, password protected but crackable. And the photo on his desk, him with a younger woman, arms slung possessively. His ex-wife? No. Digging later revealed it was Lydia, the whistleblower he'd relocated to a psych ward after she uncovered his first scam. As he droned on, I felt the old fire lick up my spine, the betrayal not just professional, but visceral. Harlan hadn't just stolen my future, he'd groomed me, isolated me from friends with team-building retreats that ended in blurred lines and NDAs. The night before the end, he'd cornered me after hours, breath hot with bourbon. We could run this place together.
Vice.
Partners. I'd laughed it off, but the rejection festered. By morning, the frame-up emails were live, and I was a dead woman walking.
Now.
Facing that same leer, I excused myself with a fabricated call, fleeing to the ladies' room to vomit. Back at my desk, resolve hardened. I needed allies, someone inside to corroborate. Enter Jax, the brooding sysadmin with tattoos peeking from his cuffs and eyes that saw too much. We'd bonded over coffee runs, his dry wit cutting through the corporate gloss. This place is a house of cards, he'd muttered once, glancing at Harlan's glass walls. That afternoon, I cornered him in the server room, the hum of fans masking our words. Jax, what if I told you I know how to topple it? He froze, then smirked. I'd say you're crazier than the boss. Or smarter.
Spill.
I did, halves of truths, testing waters. His face darkened as I sketched the embezzlement, the code thefts. Lydia, he breathed. She tried to warn me before they shipped her off. Allies secured. We plotted in whispers. He'd slip me admin access. I'd feed the feds breadcrumbs. But doubt gnawed. Jax had bills. A kid. Was I dragging him into my vendetta? The first crack appeared Wednesday. He stormed through the floor, barking orders, eyes landing on me like a hawk spotting prey. Paisley, my office.
Now.
Heart in throat. I complied. The door slamming. You hear about this bullshit audit? Some rat's stirring shit. His face was thunder. Veins bulging. I feigned shock. Wide-eyed innocence. That's awful. Mr. Voss. Who'd do that? He paced, ranting about disloyal fucks, then stopped. Inches from me. You seem unsettled. Everything good at home. The threat hung, unspoken. I met his gaze, unflinching. Peachy. Just focused on crushing it here. He searched my face, then waved me out. Close call. Too close. That night, alone with a bottle of cheap Merlot, the weight crushed me. Rebirth wasn't power, it was paranoia. Every shadow Harlan's ghost. I dreamed the bathroom again, the tile cold, blood pooling, and woke screaming. Sheets soaked. Dawn brought clarity. Escalate. I leaked a juicier nugget to a journalist contact from my startup days, framing it as concerned employee. By Friday, Bloomberg ran a teaser. Insider whispers, is Voss Dynamics' AI empire built on sand? Harlan's meltdown was biblical. Emergency all hands. His voice a whip cracking over the intercom. Saboteurs among us. Loyalty will be rewarded, treason punished. Eyes darted. Accusations flew. Jax texted me. Heads up, cameras and vents. Watching. I deleted. Heart racing. The game was on, and I was knee-deep in the arena. But revenge is a jealous mistress, and mine started whispering doubts. Was this justice or madness? Exposing Harlan would tank the company, cost hundreds their jobs, including mine, Jax's, Elena's. My parents' pride in Paisley's big break would curdle to shame. Yet the memory of that bullet.
No.
No mercy for monsters. Week 2 peaked with the interview. Harlan pulled me aside post-meeting. Voice oily. Paisley, you're gold. But trust is everything here. Sign this. He slid an NDA across the desk. Thicker than my thesis. I scanned it, standard boilerplate, but buried clauses for surveillance. Non-disparagement on steroids. Sign. And I'd be chained. Of course, I purred. Pen poised.
Then.
Casual as coffee. Heard about Lydia. Tough break. Psych eval? Harsh. His pen froze midair.
Who? Lie.
I smiled. Old article.
Just.
Be careful who you trust. The air thickened, his eyes narrowing to slits. I signed with a flourish. Heart-pounding Morse code. Seed planted. Saturday. Jax and I met in a dive bar off Times Square. Neon flickering like faulty synapses. Got you the drive, he said, sliding a USB across the scarred table. Harlan's safe, cracked via a forgotten post-it password. Files galore. Wire transfers to mobbed-up shell companies. Emails plotting Lydia's breakdown with a crooked doc. This is dynamite, Jax whispered.
Pale.
But if it blows back, I gripped his arm. It won't. I swear. Lies again. That night, I uploaded to my secure vault, drafting the kill shot. Full dossier to the DOJ. CC to every board member. Monday brought the storm. Feds swarmed the lobby, badges flashing like Judgment Day. Harlan's office became a war room, shouts echoing down halls. He cornered me in the stairwell, face purple.
You.
It's you, isn't it? The timing, too perfect. Spittle flecked his lips, hands balling into fists. I backed against the rail, the void of 47 floors yawning below. Prove it, I taunted, voice steady steel. Or are you just paranoid? Harlan? Like with Lydia? His hand shot out, fingers bruising my wrist. You think you're clever? I built this. I'll bury you. The grip tightened. A preview of the end I knew too well. I twisted free, knee driving into his groin, dirty, desperate. He crumpled, gasping. Bitch, he wheezed. I leaned in, breath ghosting his ear. Welcome to my world. Sirens wailed outside as I slipped back to my desk, deleting traces. Jack shot me a thumbs up from across the floor, but his eyes were haunted. The feds hauled Harlan in cuffs, the board scattering like roaches. By evening, Voss Dynamics was a carcass. Stock plummeting, headlines screaming, empire crumbles. But twists, as they do in this cruel rerun, wait in the wings. My phone buzzed at midnight. Unknown. Paisley Grant, FBI. We need to talk. Your name's on some interesting emails. Heart stop. Not Harlan's doing, the frame up. My old noose, woven tighter in this timeline. Jack's?
No.
He'd sworn silence. Or had I pushed him too far, racing to the window? City lights mocking me. I realized rebirth wasn't a reset. It was a loop.
Tightening.
Harlan's empire fell.
But mine?
Teetering. The interrogation room smelled like stale coffee and regret. Fluorescent buzz drilling into my skull like a dentist's revenge. Special Agent Ruiz. A no-nonsense Latina with a stare that could crack safes. Slid a tablet across the Formica table. MS. Grant. These emails from your IP. Timestamped last month. Coordinating transfers to the Caymans. Ring any bells? The screen glowed with forgeries so slick they almost fooled me. My signature digital stamp on Harlan's heists. Alibis shredded. I leaned back. Chains clinking softly, courtesy of the cuffs they'd slapped on post-arrest. Bells? Try sirens. That's Harlan's handiwork. He's been playing puppet master since day one. Ruiz arched a brow. Unmoved. Convenient. You waltz in, tank the company, and now cry frame up? We've got logs, your access to the server room. Chats with Jax Harlan.
Jax.
The name hit like a sucker punch. Had he flipped? Or worse, been flipped? I swallowed, tasting copper. Jax is clean. Talk to him. This is Voss's MO. Plant the seed. Watch it choke you. She tapped the tablet, pulling up a grainy feed, me and Jax in the bar. USB, exchanging hands like contraband. Clean.
Huh?
Explain this. Hours blurred into a standoff. My stories spilling in measured bursts, the intuition on Voss's scams. The leaks as ethical concerns. Omission was my shield. I couldn't breathe the impossible. The death rebirth insanity. They'd lock me in a rubber room faster than Harlan's silver bullet. By dawn,
Ruiz relented.
uncuffing me with a warning. You're out on bail, courtesy of your folks, but don't leave town. And Paisley, if you're dirty, we'll bury you deeper than Voss.
Deeper.
The word echoed as I stepped into the biting January wind. Paparazzi flashes blinding like spotlights on a fugitive. Home wasn't sanctuary, it was a tomb. My apartment, once a cozy chaos of takeout boxes and half-read thrillers, now felt violated. FBI seals on my laptop. Neighbor stares through peepholes. I collapsed on the couch. Scrolling news. Boss dynamics implodes. CEO in chains. Employees in chaos. My face pixelated in sidebars. Rising star or secret saboteur? Mom called. Voice fracturing. Paisley? What the hell? The news, embezzlement? Dad's beside himself. I murmured assurances, but the line went dead with her sob. Guilt gnawed, sharper than any bullet. This revenge? It was devouring collaterals. Jax texted at noon, coffee? Need to talk. Not what you think. Neutral ground, a Starbucks in Midtown. Anonymity in the lunch rush. He slid into the booth. Hood up. Eyes darting like a cornered fox. Pious. The feds grilled me all night. I didn't rat swear on my kid's life, but they showed me shit. Your old emails. From before Voss. The startup gig. You were. Digging then too. Patterns.
Patterns.
My stomach twisted. In life one. My digging was harmless curiosity, flagging irregularities to my boss, who promptly forwarded to Harlan during my interview vetting. Seeds of suspicion sown early. What are you saying? I hissed. He leaned in, voice low. I'm saying you're a ghost in your own story. How'd you know about the safe? The passwords? It's like you lived it. I froze. Steam from my latte curling like smoke signals. Lie or leap? Jax wasn't Harlan, tattooed heart under the cynicism. A single dad fighting eviction. Let's say I've got a knack for patterns. I evaded. But his gaze pinned me. Bullshit. Level with me. Or we're both sunk. The dam cracked. Haltingly. Over refills. I spilled. The death. The rewind. The impossible truth. His face cycled shock to skepticism to belief? Christ.
Buys.
If that's real, you're cursed. Or blessed. But the feds? They don't buy miracles.
No.
They bought evidence. And mine was circling the drain. We plotted escape clauses. Jax would testify to the bar meet as tech support. I'd lawyer up with a pro bono shark from the ACLU. But controversy brewed. That afternoon, a viral X thread exploded. Anonymous poster, smells like Harlan's PR firm, dubbing me the Voss Viper, splicing my interviews with deepfake clips of me confessing to fraud. Comments hemorrhaged. Cancel Paisley trending. Death threats pinging my inbox. Traitor bitch. Feminist plot? The American dream twisted into nightmare fuel, ambition as arson. Harlan's arraignment was theater. Manhattan courthouse a circus of suits and screams. I watched from the back row, incognito in oversized shades, as he pled not guilty. Charm dialed to 11. Innocent until proven, he boomed, eyes sweeping the crowd, locking on mine for a beat too long. Message received, this ain't over. Post-hearing, his attorney cornered me outside, rain sheeting down like judgment. MS. Grant. My client offers a deal. Drop the tips, testify to his character. We make your indiscretions vanish. Indiscretions. The frame. Temptation clawed, walk away. Resume intact. Parents spared the scandal. But the bullet's echo whispered no. Tell Harlan, I said. Voice rain muffled. Loose ends cut both ways. Back in the fray. Decisions darkened. Jax uncovered a Voss black book, Names of silent souls. Lydia institutionalized. A coder suicided in the Hudson.
Me.
Each a controversy buried under settlements. I chose the nuclear option. Leak the book to WikiLeaks. Redacted for safety. This'll burn it all, Jax warned over burner phones. Including us.
Us.
The word warmed. A fragile tether. Then we burn bright. The leak hit like Hiroshima, headlines screaming, Voss's body count, from code theft to cover UPS. Stock tanked to pennies. Bored suicides whispered, pills. Not bullets, small mercies. Feds looped back. Ruiz's tone thawing. You're either a saint or Satan.
Grant.
Help us connect dots. I did. Feeding vetted files. Watching Harlan's empire ash. But victory soured. Jax vanished midweek. Phone dead. Apartment emptied. Panic clawed. Kidnapped? Or ran? A note slipped under my door. Too hot. Protect Rosie.
Sorry.
Rosie, his daughter. Collateral again. Solo now. Tension coiled like a spring. Harlan's trial loomed, but pre-trial motions unearthed my ghost, forensic audit tracing my hacks to pre-hire dates. Impossible, his lawyers crowed. Unless she's a plant. Conspiracy nuts latched on, podcasts dubbing me deep state darling, QAnon fever dreams of time travel psyops. I laughed it off publicly, but privately, paranoia peaked. Was rebirth real? Or delusion? The bathroom dream returned nightly. Harlan's grin morphing to mine. Had I become the monster? Twist struck on a muggy Thursday. Ruiz called. Grant, Harlan's talking. Says you confessed everything to him. The emails? Your idea. Payback for A. Rejection. Rejection. The almost affair. Twisted into motive. Rage boiled. I stormed the detention center. Demanding visitation. Through plexiglass. Harlan smirked. Receiver greasy. Paisley. Sweetheart. Miss me. I gripped the phone. Knuckles white. You framed me twice. Why? His laugh crackled. Because you saw too much. Darling. And rejected too little. But here's the kicker, I didn't kill you. You jumped. After the emails dropped. Despair's a hell of a drug. Jumped. The memory fractured. Bathroom. Gun.
But.
Choice. Had the frame broken me so utterly I'd pulled the trigger myself? No, his eyes lied. Liar. I spat. You shot me. He leaned in. Voice silk. Prove it. Or rot with me.
Click.
Disconnected. Doubt festered. A cancer. I dug deeper. Hacking psych evals. Lydia's file. Redacted but damning. Patient reports visions of alternate fates. Paranoia re. Corporate overlords.
Me?
Or her echo. The line blurred. Jax resurfaced via email. Hiding in Jersey. Feds cleared me. But Voss's goons torched my ride.
Get out. Buys.
It's looping. Looping. My chest tightened. Was this the second death approaching? High tide crashed at the deposition. Under oath. Harlan's team grilled me. Timelines. Accesses. The impossible foreknowledge. I stonewalled. But a slip, mentioning a memo from 2022. Pre-hire, sealed cracks. How? The lawyer pounced. Psychic. Laughter rippled. Outside. Protesters swarmed, feminists chanting my name, corporatists hurling eggs. I fled to a safe house. Courtesy of Ruiz. curling fetal as rain lashed windows. Rebirth's gift? A noose of my own weaving. The safe house was a concrete bunker in Queens. All exposed brick and barred windows. The kind of place that screamed witness protection light. Ruiz had hooked me up after the egg-throwing melee. Her face etched with reluctant sympathy. Lay low.
Grant.
Trials in 2 weeks. Harlan's team is digging like moles.
Digging.
They were unearthing skeletons I didn't know I had. Nights blurred into marathons of Red Bull and Reddit rabbit holes. Chasing threads on Mandela effects and simulation glitches. Was I glitching? The bullet felt realer than this limbo. Jax checked in sporadically, prepaid cards. Vague, Rosie safe with sis. Miss the fight? I did. The isolation gnawed, turning inward. Memories resurfaced. Unbidden, Prevost Paisley. The wide-eyed grinder who'd written that resume not for glory, but escape. Dad's mill closing in Ohio. Mom's nurse shifts stretching endless. Wharton on scholarships and ramen. Every AA middle finger to Rust Belt despair. Ambition wasn't vice, it was armor. Harlan? He'd spotted the chink. Pried with promises until I bled loyalty. A knock shattered the vigil. Delivery. Unmarked box. Inside, the black book. Physical copy. Pages dog-eared with highlights. And a note. Scrawled, finish it.
Lydia?
The institutionalized whistleblower. Supposedly catatonic in Bellevue. My pulse raced.
How?
I pored over entries. Names crossed out. Motives annotated. Greed. Disloyalty. Temptation.
Mine?
Blank. Pending. The final page. Harlan's confession draft. And signed. Paisley Grant knew. She had to go, not by my hand, but hers. Pushed to the edge. She jumped. Mercy.
Mercy.
The word ignited. I called Jax. Voice hushed. Lydia's alive. Active. She sent proof. Silence. Then, pious. That's not mercy. That's bait. Bait for what? The trial. Of course, Harlan dangling suicide to flip the narrative. Paint me the unstable harpy. Feminists would rally. But the doubt? Poison. I needed Lydia. Posing as a reporter, I sweet-talked Bellevue's admin. Gaps in her care logs. Unexplained absences. Visitor? 1. Harlan's attorney.
Weekly.
The visit was a gauntlet, metal detectors. Psych evals waived for therapeutic interview. Lydia waited in a rec room. Wilted in scrubs. Hair, a gray tangle. But her eyes, sharp, unclouded, locked on mine like recognition. Paisley, she rasped.
No preamble.
You look like I feel haunted. We huddled by a puzzle table. Pieces of a half-done Manhattan skyline mocking us. Her story poured. Harlan's first victim. 2015 hire turned paramour turned threat when she glimpsed the ledgers. He didn't shoot you, she whispered. But he loaded the gun. Doctored footage. Made it look like you cornered him.
Then.
The jump. Deep fake despair. Deep fake. The tech Harlan peddled. Twisted inward. Why help now? I pressed. She smiled.
Cracked.
Because I saw you die. In a dream. Or memory. Were echoes. Girl. Looped in his web. Echoes.
Trùng sinh con ta đi no?
I reeled. But she pressed the book into my hands. Testify. Break the loop. Escaping. The weight anchored me, truth. But tangled. back in hiding.
Controversy crested.
A leaked audio, me. In deposition. Fumbling the timeline went viral. Twisted by pundits. Grant's delusions. Time travel tales or tinfoil? Late-night slots dissected. Tucker Carlson sneering woke witch hunt. Rachel Maddow probing corporate misogyny. I became America's Rorschach, hero to Me Too marchers. Villain to MAGA memes. Threats escalated. Slashed tires outside the safe house. A brick through the window etched jumper. Ruiz pulled strings for protection, but her faith frayed. Paisley, level with me. The foreknowledge, stock tips you flagged pre-hire? It's eerie.
Eerie.
Under the kitchen fluorescence, over lukewarm tie, I cracked. The full tale, death, rewind, vendetta. She listened, stone-faced, then sighed. If that's true, you're a miracle. If not, psych eval pending. No cuffs. But the seed of doubt sprouted. Harlan's motion to dismiss hit like a grenade. Prosecutorial misconduct. Witness tampering via anonymous leaks.
Me.
Fingered. Courtroom erupted when I took the stand. Week of the trial. Harlan, orange jumpsuit but still swaggering, leered from the defense table.
Da prept me, stick to facts.
No hunches, but under cross. His shark attorney pounced. MS. Grant, you claim Mr. Voss framed you, yet your emails predate employment.
How?
The jury leaned in, a sea of skepticism. I hesitated, Lydia's words echoing. Intuition. Patterns. Laughter rippled. Patterns? Or perjury? He produced the deepfake, grainy video of me in the bathroom. Harlan pleading. Me advancing with a phantom gun.
Gasps.
Suicide by cop, he sneered. Or scorn lover's rage? The gallery buzzed. My world tilting. It wasn't real. I knew the tiles. The lighting, but to them?
Damning.
Recess called. I bolted to the hall, vomiting bile into a trash bin.
Jax.
In the crowd. Slip me a note. Fake confirmed. Lydia hacked it. Play along. Play along? To what end? The afternoon resumed. Me dismantling the vid frame by frame. Metadata glitches.
Audio disyncs.
Jury murmurs shifted, but damage lingered. Harlan's grin said he smelled blood. Post-court, the twist uncoiled. Lydia called, burner to burner. It's bigger. Pious. Harlan's not the head. Board puppet, real strings from DC. Black budget AI for election rigging. Voss Dynamics, front for deep state dirt. My leaks stirred a hornet's nest. They're coming for us both.
Us.
The loop widened. Rebirth not random, but engineered. Paranoia peaked. I spotted tails. Shadows and alleys. Decisions fractured. Testify full-throated. Risk the delusion label? Or fold? Take a plea. Let Harlan skate? Jax voted burn it down. Expose the octopi. But Rosie, his anchor, tugged mercy. I chose controversy. Midnight presser outside the courthouse. Rain lashed. Megaphone in hand. Voss isn't alone. It's a syndicate, Wall Street to Washington. I died for it once. Won't again. Cameras flashed. Chaos reigned. Paisley Rising trended, but so did Psycho Paisley. Eggs flew. I ducked, laughing maniacally. Madness or method? Harlan's reaction was swift. Jailhouse hit?
No.
Sutler. My parents' home vandalized. Traitor spray painted. Mom's call broke me. Come home, baby. Just stop. Stop. The bullet laughed.
No.
Crescendo built to closing arguments. DA painted Harlan monster. Defense. Mimi Dia. Verdict hung. Jury sequestered. That night.
Safehouse breached, door splintered.
Figures in black. I fought dirty, lamp to skull. Knee to groin, fleeing into the storm-slick streets. Jax met me blocks away. Rosie buckled in his beat-up Civic. Drive, I gasped. To Lydia. Bellevue loomed. A gothic specter. We stormed psych ward. Alarms blaring. Finding her room empty. Bed stripped.
Chart gone.
Transferred. Nurse stammered. To where? Harlan's web. Recoiling. Fugitive now. We hold in a Jersey motel. Neon vacancy flickering like a death knell. Jax paced. Rosie asleep on the bed.
Buys.
This loop, end it. Walk away. Walk. The easy path. Controversial in its cowardice. Or we cut the head.
Debatt race till dawn. Morse vs.
Massacre. I chose the blade. The motel reeked of mildew and desperation. Rosie's crayons scattered like shrapnel across the shag carpet. Jax brewed instant coffee in the bathroom sink. His face a roadmap of stubble and strain. Pious.
Think.
The board, expose him. And it's Gitmo for us. Whistleblowers don't win, they warn.
Warn.
I'd been the canary. Chirping until choked. Lydia's absence gnawed. Transferred to a private facility. For hacked records. Harlan's doing. Or the syndicates. The line blurred into abyss. We hit the road at first light. Civic hugging I-95 south. Wipers slapping against a drizzle that felt biblical. Destination, DC? Lydia's last ping geolocating to a Georgetown brownstone. Registered to Patriot Analytics, a Voss shell. Rosie chattered from the back. Oblivious. And pious. Are we playing spies? I forced a grin. The best kind.
Kiddo.
But inside? Coiled spring. Ready to snap. DC. Swallowed us in its marble maw. Monuments mocking the mighty fallen. We staked the brownstone from a food truck. Steam fogging windows. Suits came and went. Briefcases gleaming like scalpels. Evening brought the mark. A silver-haired ghost. Senator Hale, Judiciary Committee Chair. Harlan's uncle from donor lists. He vanished inside. Lights flicked on. Silhouettes dancing. Now, Jax whispered. We slipped through the alley. Jimmying a service door, his sysadmin tricks. My ghost's nerve. The basement was a warren of servers humming like angry bees. Air thick with ozone. Lydia hunched over a terminal. Fingers flying. Gaunt but fierce. You came. No surprise. Just relief. She briefed rapid fire. Voss's node in Echelon 2.0. AI rigging votes. Markets.
Mines.
Harlan the fall guy. Hale the architect. Deepfakes aren't toys, she said. Pulling files. They birthed your rebirth. Sims running scenarios. You the variable.
Sims?
My gut roiled. I died. Felt it. She nodded.
Pitying.
Or, did the sim convince you?
Tauma upolat?
Neural wipe. Harlan tested it on me first. Suicide loop till I broke. Mindfuck supreme. Rebirth, not cosmic. But code? I reeled. Jax studying me. Doesn't change shit, he growled. They're crooks.
No.
Titans, Logs showed Hale greenlighting my end, a beta for dissident control. Rage distilled to diamond. Not just revenge. Reckoning. We downloaded terabytes, contracts, kill lists, my death script. Escape was ballet. Alarms tripped. But we melted into foggy bottom crowds. Civic peeling east. Back north. Controversy canonized me. My presser clip looped on CNN. Pundits splitting hairs. Hero or hysteric? Protests swelled. Occupy 2.0 outside Wall Street. My face on placards. But backlash bit. Doxing. IRS audits on my parents. Jax's ex snatching Rosie custody mid-chaos. Fight's personal now, he said. Voice cracking over diner payphone. I nodded.
Stealing.
Trial reconvened sans me. Fugitive status tanked credibility. Harlan's jury tilting his way. We struck from shadows. Leaks to ProPublica. Timed to jury deliberations. Patriotgate erupted. Hale's face on every feed. Resigning in a sweat-soaked presser. Harlan's verdict? Mistrial. Chaos in court. But the syndicate recoiled. Hounds loosed. Our motel raided feds?
No.
Contractors in unmarked vans. Jax took a beating shielding Rosie. I drove getaway. Blood on the dash. Hospital, I urged. No, finish.
Finish.
The word bound us. Frayed but fierce. High noon in Manhattan, Federal Plaza. Harlan's bail hearing. I crashed it, laptop in arms. Flanked by Jax, bruised but unbowed, and a hastily rallied press corps. Security lunged. I mounted the steps. USB raised like Excalibur. This ends today. Megaphone borrowed from a Bernie bro. I spilled. Files projected on the courthouse wall via hacked screens. Hale's memos. My sim death. Voss as lab rat. Crowd roared. Phones aloft. Harlan. Emerging shackled. Blanched. Empire's emperor dethroned in pixels. Feds swarmed. But Ruiz led. Stand down, she's ours. Interrogation redux. But triumphant. Sims. Ruiz echoed. Scrolling dossiers. Christ.
Paisley.
You're either insane or indispensable. Indispensable. They cut deal. Immunity for testimony. Syndicate probe launched. Harlan cracked under pressure. Singing like Sinatra, Hale. Boards. Foreign ties. Arrests cascaded. CEOs in cuffs. Senators scattering. But decisions thorns pricked. My rebirth, exposed as tech horror, ethical minefield. Bioethicists decried neural torture, sparking congressional hearings. I testified. Voice steady. They kill me to test control. Don't let them. Controversy crowned. Savior to tech reformers. Frankenstein to privacy hawks. Protests split. Ban the Sims versus. Innovation fetish. Personal toll mounted. Mom visited the new safe house, government subsidized. At least, embracing tight. My brave girl. But the dreams. You scream his name. Harlan's. Or the Sims. Therapy loomed. Pills prescribed. Jax. Rebuilding with Rosie. Our bond shifting. Friends forged in fire. Embers of more. What now? He asked. Over pizza in a park. Autumn leaves crunching. Live, I said. But living post-loop? Alien. Twist's tail lashed. Lydia vanished again. A final email. Loop broken. But backups run eternal. Watch the skies. Skies? Drones hummed overhead. Always now. Paranoia or prudence. Harlan's sentencing life. No parole brought catharsis. But hollow. Watching him shuffle in orange. Eyes dead. I felt empty. Revenge sated the beast, but starved the soul. Winter gripped New York like a grudge. Snowplows growling through canyons of slush as I stepped from the courthouse for the last time. Harlan's appeal denied. His empire a footnote in antitrust textbooks. The press scrum parted. Faded glory. Their frenzy shifted to fresh scandals. MS.
Grant.
One question, regrets. Regret? A symphony. I paused, breath fogging. Only that it took a death to wake us. Flashbulbs popped. I vanished into the crowd. A ghost in plain sight. Life post-vendetta was reconstruction. Bricks laid on fault lines. The feds funneled consulting gigs, ethics audits for big tech. My experience a velvet euphemism for trauma cred. Paycheck steady. But the corner office felt like a cage. Mirrors reflecting a paisley hollowed by loops. Therapy unpacked the SIM, experimental neural interface. Harlan's pet project for employee optimization. My death. Stress test gone rogue. Consciousness forked into a recursive hell until. Glitch? Mercy kill? Doctor shrugged. I called it grace. Jax and I navigated the gray. Coffee dates bleeding into dinners. Rosie's laughter the glue. Aunt Pius became pious. Storybooks read with his hand brushing mine. First kiss in a Central Park blizzard. Tentative as thawing. This real, he murmured. Nose cold against my cheek. Realer than code, I whispered. Love. Post-rebirth. Was tentative theology, faith in flesh over firewalls. But America doesn't forgive outliers. Controversies clung like burrs. Senate hearings grilled my testimony. Senators sneering, conspiracy cosplay. Sim Survivor trended. Merch mocked, t-shirts. I died for your data. Feminists hailed me icon. Incels branded me harlot. Death threats pinged. Forcing moves, upstate cabin. Woods whispering secrets. Mom visited. Dad's ghost in her eyes. Heart held. But fragile. Proud.
Kiddo.
But rest.
Rest.
The luxury of the unscarred. Twist's coda arrived spring. Cherry blossoms mocking renewal. Anonymous package. USB. Labeled backup. Lydia? Or syndicate remnant? I hesitated. Then plugged in. Final sim log. My rebirth not glitch. But choice. Harlan's interface queried. Terminate or replay? In the depths. I'd chosen replay, ambition's curse. Vendetta's vow. Self-inflicted loop. The revelation buckled me. Not victim, but volunteer. Why? Jax asked, holding me through sobs. To win, I gasped. To matter. Karma circled.
Foss remnant sued defamation.
Lost billions. I countersued, unearthing more graves, coder suicides, intern overdoses. Settlements flowed, funding a foundation, grant loops, aiding whistleblowers, neural ethics research, purpose from pain, phoenix from pixels. Climax echoed in quiet, Harlan's prison shank, self-inflicted. Note smuggled. You won.
Pious.
Loose end tied. Suicide? Or mercy from within? I burned it. Ashes to the wind off my porch.
No triumph.
Just closure. Bittersweet as bourbon. Ending?
No taidibao.
I stand at life's pivot. Resume rewritten. Not dream job, but dream self. With Jax's ring glinting, proposal under stars. Rosie cheering. Mom's grandbaby brewing. The loop feels linear. But skies hum with drones. Whispers of backups. Vigilant. I write this, manifesto or memoir, for the next glitch. America, land of second chances. Or infinite regressions. You decide.
Me?
I choose forward. One breath. One bullet dodged. At a time. The end?
Nah.
Just intermission.